Hi, I'm Eric Apfelbach. I'm the CEO of ZBB Energy Corporation. ZBB is a New York Stock Exchange listed public company. We're about 60 people, so we're a small company based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have a global footprint though. We have a joint venture in China where we develop and sell and manufacture product for the Chinese market. We also have partners in South Korea. Most of our business activity right now is focused on systems that store energy, route power. We're focused in two primary markets. We're in the commercial industrial building space, and also we service the utility space. The other market that we've shipped some product into is the off-grid and microgrid market. We make our own power electronics and zinc bromide batteries. Right now, we see this huge, massive change happening where the grid is going from fairly low penetration of renewables to very high penetration of renewables. And all across the globe, this is taking on a different rate of speed. We tend to work in the areas where the renewable penetration is the highest. So that would be in the U.S., that would be in California, Hawaii, Phoenix, the island nations, anywhere where things are expensive electricity and a lot of renewables. So we track that pretty extensively. It's a mega trend industry right now because the entire way a grid operates and interacts with those renewables is changing, and it's got to change. So you're seeing a huge shift right now between how a utility thinks of where they start and stop and where the renewable energy and distributed generation people start and stop. So that's what makes it exciting. It's in the next 5 years, we think that the entire way we look at the grid and the way it operates will change. Our systems, so storage, we call our systems smart storage because we can basically be on grid, off grid, behind the meter, and supply all kinds of storage solutions to that customer. The major things that I think will lead to growth in the next few years is, number one, there's going to have to be a reconciliation between how the very different worlds of the utility-minded customers and the renewable energy and distributed energy people have to interact. Right now, in many of our markets, you see kind of a skirmish going on between the utility having an older business model and a slow ability to change, and then you see a very quick developing renewable penetration. So these business models and the way assets get paid for have to get reconciled. And so we're seeing that accelerate in California, where all of a sudden you've got mandates for billions of dollars of batteries to be installed both in front of and behind the meter. You see it's kind of a different scenario in Hawaii, where you've got massive renewable energy penetration and the utility somewhat not knowing how to deal with running a smart grid in that situation. So the number one thing will be that reconciliation between the old school utility model and the new fast-moving renewables. The other thing is, obviously, there's got to be ways to pay for all of these assets. The utilities have various models that have been developed over years to write down and distribute the costs of assets into the rate base. The way renewables and battery storage gets paid for right now is all over the map, but that people will demand that there's a good return on that investment. So that synchronization of those business models so that the assets get paid, the people who write the checks, and the financeability of those models, when that gets worked out, what we see in the world right now is everybody wants smart storage, whether it's in substations or in buildings or off-grid. You've got billions of people with no electricity. They're burning diesel fuel or they have nothing. The technology exists right now to fix that. The question is the financing and the money flow going to enable that? And so that's what's going to be exciting to see over the next 5 years. As those things get worked out, that entire grid, the way these products are distributed, will all start to change. And what we like about it, obviously, is you're talking about a 60 to 100 billion dollar type market to transform this. It's not a small opportunity. So that's what makes it exciting from a supplier's perspective. Batteries and the way they're being used is a new market. I've been in many new markets like fiber optics and semiconductors and flat panel displays. The early stages, there's always a lot of these, I'll call them convulsions of how do you get it done, how do you break the barriers. Right now in storage, you've got actually all kinds of things. Like I mentioned, you've got business models which are drastically different between the utility world and the distributed generation world. Those are colliding. You've got new technologies, some of which are dangerous or could have failure modes or have a reliability spec that doesn't meet the market requirement. You've got a cost structure that in these assets has to have a good ROI, and in some cases right now doesn't. So just like you've got solar panels have to undercut the price of coal and natural gas, storage has to have a way to get paid off. The incentive systems for storage aren't as mature as what we see with solar. It's not as clear how to finance it, who's going to pay. Those things will get more mature over the next couple of years, and we'll start to see things just accelerate, very similar to solar. Any early market, new penetration like solar, distributed generation, or now storage, you're going to see a lot of successes and failures early as all of the stakeholders adjust and say, okay, this is how we're going to do this, this is how everybody wins.